Just whacked my hand on the table. The other day, somebody asked me, how long have you been doing this virtual teaching, virtual learning kind of thing? And you know what? It's actually been more than a decade at this point. So today, I'm going to talk about how my teaching has evolved in a digital space. So obviously in 2020, I don't know if you remember this or not, but everybody went online. So you had this huge influx of virtual learning, and teaching and learning had to adapt around that. I was one of those people who adapted well to virtual learning. In fact, I still teach a lot of my classes online. And a lot of people were kind of like, oh, I have to completely shift around my teaching. And you know what? That's okay. You should probably not be using a worksheet that you've been Xeroxing over and over and over again since the mid-90s. Teaching concepts and methodologies should be upgraded, and you should put some polish into stuff that you've been doing. Don't just stick with whatever the previous teacher was doing, because that's probably what the previous teacher before that was doing and the previous teacher before that was doing. But in either case, that kind of stuff is not going to work in a digital environment. But when we all went online to do Zoom teaching, hey, I've already been kind of doing that. Because before Zoom teaching, I was making virtual lessons for substitute teachers. I'm just going to come out and say it. As long as my classroom isn't burnt down, the substitute teacher did a good job. But I rarely expect a sub to deliver the same kind of quality or caliber teaching that I can deliver. But in either case, I would just pre-record a lesson and upload it for the students to watch as they needed to. And they can watch it on their own time. They can watch it at their own pace. Some of them can watch it during class, but if they want to watch it later, maybe they want to use the class as a study hall, maybe they're absent, I don't know. But they have control over how they consume the learning. And some of them said, hey, this is awesome. I can take a break in the middle. I can, watch one piece and get a snack and come back. Right? I can rewind something if I missed it. And that way they just have this file. It's not live in-person teaching, but it is something that as a resource, they can go back and look at and analyze and sort of pick apart later, or go, hey, when I'm doing these response questions, I can go back to the actual lesson and hear what was taught again. Great. Prior to that, I was working with this boy band called Mindless Behavior. And a lot of times they would be out of town, or they wouldn't all be in the same place at the same time, or they would go, hey, surprise, we went to Chicago for a couple of days to do some radio interviews and we didn't take you with us. I still needed to teach them for 10 hours a week, so trying to find times to do that could be difficult. So we used Skype. Remember Skype? So that we would have virtual learning. And this was fine. And it was a way that I could connect with them and they could still ask questions, even in cases where they're just reading a book. At least I'm sitting there across from them virtually. And they can look up and ask me questions. We can talk about vocab, or we can do live feedback. And they really appreciated that. This was our #1 girl tour of 2012. By the way, I'm noted in here as Chris Kayland, which is not how my name is spelled. You can see it says Kayland right there. Sometimes that made it difficult for me to book my hotels, because I'd be like, hi, I'm Chris Layman, or Kayland, or Layton. There's a lot of instances of them getting that wrong. Anyway, however your learning is being distributed in a virtual context, it needs to be altered, because students have Google right there. And if you just ask them multiple choice questions, or you just ask them true-false questions, they're just going to Google it. Or if you ask them for a response question, they're going to Google it and they're going to copy and paste. Here's a tip. Have them have a cap on how much writing they can put in there. For example, what are the 2 main causes of the American Revolutionary War? But you have to tell me in fewer than 80 words. That means they can't just copy something from Wikipedia or copy something from wherever else. They have to actually think about it, digest it, and put the work in to reduce the amount of actual writing they have to do, but give you a much more coherent answer. Anyway, I hope this is helpful, and I hope this kind of illuminated options for kinds of virtual teaching and learning that you could do. If you want to sign up for one of my classes, please do. Don't forget to like and subscribe and do all the things. Anyway, I hope you have a super awesome, cool day. Take care. Bye.